Hey, here we go. So we are back, and now I'm going to be talking about fight or flight mode. So we have this part of our brain called the amygdala, and the amygdala is responsible for fight or flight mode. And essentially, what fight or flight mode is, for those of you that are, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the term fight or flight. But fight or flight mode is when your brain perceives a threat, it goes into what is called the threat response, which means you are going to start feeling a lot of symptoms. Symptoms like depersonalization, symptoms like derealization, symptoms of your heart beating or what you might feel like are heart palpitations, or anything that's going to cause you to feel like you just got hit with an adrenaline rush. This is all due to the amygdala. And this is what fight or flight is. So, in the past, if we're looking back when we were in the wild, as human beings, and we were hunters and gatherers, we had to fear threats, real threats. And when I say real threats, I'm talking about animals, and I'm talking about other tribes. I'm talking about things like lions. I'm going to use the lion metaphor because a lot of people that know about fight or flight mode refer to the lion metaphor. So I think that'd be the most familiar for most people. If you live in any, I feel like 99% of people will never have to see a lion face to face in their life. And I highly doubt any of you will have to see a lion face to face unless you're going to a zoo or on a safari tour. But aside from that, it is very unlikely that you're going to walk outside and there's going to be a lion that's trying to attack you. But our brain does not understand that. Our brain is still programmed and has not evolved enough that it still feels like there are lions and other predators out there that are constantly trying to hurt us. So when the amygdala goes into fight or flight and the brain gets stuck in this state of overwhelm because of the nervous system overload and all the stress and trauma, your brain perceives that there is some sort of threat that is after you, and that is why your symptoms have not gone away yet. So when we communicate to our nervous system, and I'll teach you guys how to do that later, when we communicate to our nervous system that there is no threat, that is when the symptoms will go away, and they will stay away if you just continue to do what I teach. So overall, being in fight or flight mode is not fun. And I know I said in the other video that, depersonalization is not dangerous. Well, it's not dangerous, and that's just a fact. But being in fight or flight mode too long, and I'm talking about like decades, there is some scientific research and evidence out there that it could negatively impact your life. And it could possibly lead to some sort of long-term complications. So I don't want to scare you. I'm also not a doctor, so I can't say that for certain. I'm just saying based off what I've read. But we do want to make sure that we can try to get out of fight or flight mode sooner than later. This isn't something like if you're not out of it in 6 months, it's going to be the end of the world. But this is something you don't want to be in your entire life. That's what I'm trying to say. It's also not comfortable. Our brain wants to recover. Our brain wants to relax and no longer perceive a threat. But we have to get our brain out of fight or flight mode. And when you get it out of fight or flight mode, symptoms of depersonalization will also go away. I will go more into depth about that in other videos, obviously, and we will continue to talk about all of this. But just understand these feelings, many of these symptoms, like an increase of saliva, or it could be the opposite. You could have a dry mouth, your eyes dilating. That was a big one for me. I know if I even walked outside, it felt like the sun was just glaring down on me, and it felt extremely uncomfortable. Your lungs, that's another big one, is you may feel a sense of having to, like, you can't get enough oxygen, or you're hyperventilating. Which is caused because of a lack of oxygen. So there's a lot of different things that you can feel that are actually fumbling over my thoughts or my word, but there is a lot of different symptoms that you can experience while you are in fight or flight mode, and it does not mean you're in any danger. It just means that your brain believes you are due to all the overwhelm that is inside of your nervous system. Your brain doesn't understand that there is no lion. Your brain doesn't understand that, yes, you had a bad experience with marijuana or another drug or any whatever caused your depersonalization. Your brain doesn't understand that you are no longer in that state and that you are actually away from that you're not having this bad weed experience anymore, that you're not in a car crash anymore, that you're not going through a divorce, that you're not getting, abused by somebody. Your brain doesn't understand that, so we have to communicate to your brain, and we'll do that through the techniques I'll teach you and the philosophy behind all this, but we have to communicate to your brain that you are safe, and when we do that, your brain will shut off all the symptoms of depersonalization, and that's how you recover. So it's pretty simple, actually. I think a lot of people, they want to make it this big, complicated thing, but the way that our brain works is wired to recover. It doesn't want to stay in fight or flight mode. Your brain is only in fight or flight mode because the amygdala fears that there's some sort of threat. And it fears that there's a lion, or it fears that there's this trauma that's still happening in your life, and we have to fix that. So that's what I'm going to explain in the upcoming videos, but just have some hope. Just have a lot of hope, actually, because depersonalization is not as bad as you think, and the goal is we're going to get out of this.